You're also now a UFC fighter.
Yes, yeah, I've been in UFC now for 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
For some time. How's that going?
Good, alhamdulillah. I'm on a 3-fight winning streak. Got another one coming up June 1st, so should be fun.
Okay, we're gonna have some fun. Okay, I'm gonna get your reaction to the whole bus incident that happened.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I heard something, and I would take off from here, and it all connects. We'll connect it all. So we're gonna hear this. This is from you know Matt Serra, former UFC champion. Yeah. He has that show, and he had one of his guests. I forgot what his name is. Let's listen to this clip, and then and I'll go into my question. How's that?
Yep, sounds good.
You just came up with that word, terrorist.
Yeah.
He's lucky he didn't get charged with the terrorist act.
Oh, that's why.
Because he came from another country, came here with 20 guys to start trouble and attack Khabib. So he's lucky he didn't get charged with that.
Okay, so I want you to imagine this. Mohammed Belal, he's coming over from Palestine, right? He's got 30 brothers with him. He's so you're an American citizen, right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't do something like that, obviously, but just paint the picture now, right? Because we call out a lot of the double standards out there, some of the open, hypocrisy that's around there. So I'm just envisioning, okay, in your head, you got Mohammed Belal. He's on a work visa, right? Because Conor McGregor, he's coming from another country. He's on a work visa, right?
Yeah.
I didn't mention it, but this just had my scruple, I thinking what I heard. I don't know who the co-host is who was that speaking? The guy who was
There's Matt Serra and
what's his name?
Man, I forgot what his name is, but I know you're talking about. Yeah, I know you're talking about that.
He's an actor, a famous actor, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he said it. He said, man, he's lucky he didn't get charged with terrorism. What do you think would happen to you?
Man,
or any Muslim by
they're definitely getting arrested. We're going to jail for a while, and I think we're getting kicked out of the UFC. It's going to be in the papers as a terrorist, and the headline's going to read Muhammad. That's going to be like the first one. Muhammad terrorist attacks bus, guaranteed, 100%. So, I mean, like you said, it's a double standard. He's Conor McGregor, and right now he's like the face of the organization. So, like, the UFC's not going to punish him like they would, like any other UFC fighter. They would have been cut right away, 100%. But it's Conor McGregor. I know he brings in the money, but doing something like that, like you have little kids looking up to him, kids watching him, and then they see him do something like that, so they're going to think the same thing, that they could do something like that if they wanted to, or they could go to school and hurt somebody or throw stuff at windows, break windows, and nothing will happen to them just because they're looking at their idol, Conor McGregor, and nothing's happening to him, and he's laughing about it, and he's just having fun with it. So, I mean, now the UFC could play it off as a promotional thing now, because, they're going to play it, if him and Khabib end up fighting, they're going to play that bus stint the whole time as they're promoting it. So, I mean, in the long run, it's going to make them money, but on like a personal thing, I think it makes them look bad.
Mm-hmm. Even if you don't want that responsibility, by being in the spotlight, you obviously have people look. I like what you said. Young kids. Kids are going to be looking at you, and they're going to end up, throwing a tantrum, throwing, whatever is accessible. Hurt. Maybe he could have killed somebody. You know what I mean? Yeah,
exactly. That dolly goes to the window, and it could have hit him in the head, or it cut one of them, and the other guy had a glass go in his eye, so that could have honestly blinded them or really put them out. Like, I don't think, like, his first thing when I thought about it at first, I thought it was like a stunt, and the UFC was like just playing it off. But then when I saw guys get hurt off it, I feel like it just went too far. Mm-hmm. I feel like he probably had the idea where I'm gonna go out there and just make a little noise, get a little attention off it. But then he just went nuts on there and just started throwing the wrong things. Mm-hmm. Like, you throw a trash can at the thing, the window's not gonna break or anything like that, and it'll make you look. It'll promote it a little bit, but you're throwing dollies and metal spears or something through the windows. So I'm like, that's how people get hurt.
Was there any formal apology to this day that you know of?
No, nothing from Conor McGregor. Like, the UFC said it, and Dana White said he's talked to Conor McGregor, and like they had their heart-to-heart, whatever, and he's apologized to Dana White or anything like that. But I haven't seen anything publicly from Conor yet. That's
another thing. I mean, obviously, as human beings, we make mistakes, and to be unapologetic in something that you should be apologizing for. That's another thing, that lessons are learned from people who might do something like that. You're taking this person or anyone else as an example, and they're setting bad trends and bad examples, and now they do these bad things. You do it, and they're not even apologetic. So you're not apologetic, and you're just like, hey, what's that famous statement he has? I'm sorry for absolutely.
Yeah,
how's that
sorry
go?
For absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Or he said, I want to apologize to everybody for absolutely nothing after all of his like trash talking. He was like, when he fought Eddie Alvarez, he was talking about his family, talking about everything like that. And then afterward, he said, I'm sorry for absolutely nothing. So now that's like a big meme that people always post.
Yeah.
And then now you got also guys in the UFC now that are trying to like take after him because they see him getting all the money. So what are they doing? They're gonna start talking trash to people, being unsportsmanlike, and then just trying it. And like you could tell, for Conor's good at it. Like you could tell he's good at it. He's practiced it. But some guys now are just trying too hard to be that villain and to beat Kobe Covington. If you look at him talking about Brazil, saying it's a dump, saying the people from there are trash when he fights a Brazilian guy, and then like you could tell it's fake. It's 100% fake. It's just him trying to play a role as a villain. But you're putting all those people, like the Brazilian fans, everybody into like making them all feel bad, making them all hate you, and it's gonna make other kids think, all right, I can say the same thing, or I'm a basketball player, or I'm a like 10-year-old kid, and I see him talking trash about a whole country. Why can't I do the same thing about this other team or this school? Like your whole school is trash. Anybody from that area is trash. So it's just gonna make everything look bad in the end.
Yeah, and it goes back to you having a bigger responsibility, and now you have the spotlight, and now people are, we're creatures of imitation, and now people are imitating you in the bad things. I like what this Cyborg, Cyborg?
Yeah.
I've seen her actually wearing hijab. I don't know if you ever seen her.
Yeah.
Saying mashallah, God willed it, and doing some really, she actually, how Khabib, and this is what I kind of went away from watching many of the UFCs and whatnot. But what drew me one time is I was with my cousins and family where they kept telling me about this Muslim UFC guy, and then I watched his fight one time, and what really touched me was when he stopped afterwards and he thanked the Almighty, he thanked the Creator.
The world, Khabib.
First of all, I want to say Alhamdulillah. Without God, we cannot do nothing. Everything is nothing. Number one, believe on your one God. First of all, I want to say thank you for God. God is number one. Other things is nothing. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah.
You know what I mean? Instead of doing it's me, you know what I mean? And he made sajda. He went and he prostrated. You know what I mean? I was really impressed with that. You know what I mean? And then we see, I don't know if they did this before. And again, it goes back to like people setting good trends. She went out, she was feeding the poor.
Yeah.
She's not Muslim, she's Christian, but that's a good thing. We commend that. That's what we need more of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, exactly. That was huge. Like after her last fight, she went out and I think cause she was at like UFC 200 or something, and she went out and gave out like 200 meals to kids and the poor people out there. And that's something that the UFC should be promoting. That's the things that, man, that's just a beautiful thing that she's going out there. She's promoting that. And like you said, Khabib, every single fight, giving his thanks, alhamdulillah, for everything. And then even after his title fight, it's not me. It's from God. That's what right after his title fight, that's what he's getting on the mic. And I think that's going to be huge that we got our first Muslim champion, because it's going to put us in the limelight more, and it's going to show like how Muslims are humble. And like right now when you look at the news or anything like that, they're always shining the light on all the negative things that happen to Muslims, or guys that say they're Muslims and they're terrorists and they're all of this and they're all of that. So now shine the light on a great Muslim, a great humble Muslim that's a champion, that's a real champion, and he's still humble and still not changing like Conor McGregor, where Conor McGregor got his money now and he's becoming that villain now, and he doesn't care what people think of him, or he has that attitude like, I'm going to do me no matter what. I don't care if I have kids looking up to me. I don't care if I just had a kid. I don't care about any of that now. I'm still the money maker, and I'm still going to be the businessman that I want to be. Mm-hmm. Khabib's more of a Muslim he's a Muslim before a businessman. So that's the big thing.
And many people don't know, it's, and this is the unique thing about our show. We usually, because people, when they can't identify with something, it's kind of like the other. But once Muslim is simply one who has chosen to submit to the Creator. That's it. Some people submit to money. Some people submit to themselves, and their desires. But a Muslim is one who simply submits to the Creator of all things. And that's what we're humbly trying to do. And tell me, do you get some bullying yourself now? I mean, some people might not know I'm Muslim Eddie, you know what I mean? And it's not in the name, you know what I mean? It's like you got Muslim can be named Muhammad, can be named Mike, it's someone, a Muslim can be from Italy, from Japan, from all over, you know what I mean? So that's one misconception many people have, that they think Muslims are Arabs, you know what I mean? But Muslims are, from all walks of life. Do you now, because you have the name Muhammad, right? Belal.
Yeah.
Do you get some people trying to bully you?
Like social media.
It's not obviously not in person. The keyboard tough guys.
Yeah. You're always gonna have them keyboard tough guys that are always right when I post like a poster or something like that of my next coming up fight, and it'd be like, who's a terrorist? How's that terrorist? UFC letting a terrorist in the
cyberbullying. Huh?
Yeah, UFC's letting a terrorist in the UFC. I'm like, what the heck? But it's funny. Then you have like guys that are randomly like make weird posts, because my sister, she works with a fundraiser in Chicago. It's called PCRF, like Palestinian Children's Relief Fund in Palestine. And then like I'll post something about that, and then some guy made like a whole article about how that fund is like promoting and helping terrorists in Palestine and Gaza. And I'm like, where do people just come up with these stories where they just waste their time to come up with a whole story, shining a negative light on a Muslim just trying to do good?